Weekend preview time again. Daggy and Beaver with you to get stuck into Melbourne and Sydney racing this weekend. What's cracking, Beaver?
What's cracking? We're just, we've got the Magic Millions replay or
tonight,
non-replay, but
the rest of the
second
card
attempt on this evening. So races are still fairly similar, and the fields are very similar to our tips last week. So if you're looking for some tips, you can go back and watch our previous show. But focusing this weekend on Flemington and the Sydney races at Rosehill.
You can also head to showusyourtips.net. Our written form is up there still. I'm just looking at it now. You can get the Beavers and my thoughts on the remainder of the cards. Belvedere Boys was my best. We're both pretty keen on Moravia looking through there. So hopefully that's all going to plan up at the Gold Coast. I guess very quickly have a look at Canterbury or anything else tonight before we kick off.
No, haven't delved into that just yet, mate. Focused among getting our weekend form out, but might have a look a bit later in the evening.
Very good. As I said, we'll plug showstips.net. The Rugby League bowl prediction shows up there on the front page, as well as I'll be catching up with GT at about 3 o'clock this afternoon to preview UFC as well. But we have Flemington to look at. And don't mind this card, Beaver, if it's not, I guess, a bit of autumn carnival racing in the air. There's at least a little waft of it that it's on the horizon.
Yeah, look, we're starting to see couple of decent horses come back, and look, I think there's some fairly competitive races and a little bit of value out there, and a few little shorties that hopefully can get the chockies for us.
The weather is clearing, a bit of a shower today, but it should be a good track. The rail's in a 9-metre position, and we kick off with a mile benchmark 100, and I'll open the batting day just for something different, but a little annoyed I missed the price Wings of Song first up, but I'm just going to take the tact that that was a good win, and 2 trials since. I know it's had some time between runs, but 2 trials since up to a mile is only going to help. This is a horse that ended up out towards the Oaks trips last time in. I think it's a good horse in a field of horses that have been there, done that. So it's going to go on top from Marble Arch, just because Marble Arch gets control. And don't really touch much else here. What have you come up with?
Yeah, not a race I was too excited to start the day. I'm going to go for the toppy in Moonamek. I thought it showed improvement second up, to be only a couple of lengths off them in the listed company, and I thought hit the line okay. This is not an overly tough field. I think Flemington suits here over the 1600, has won 3 out of 4 at this track and distance. So I think it's suited here, and I've got it on top just maybe to sit off the pace in a small field and be able to come down the middle and get them in the last 100.
Beautiful. Up next, you've got the 2-year-old 1,000-metre race up the straight. Has anything caught your eye? Largely debutantes here.
Yeah, look, I'm keen to play the number 8 here, Ethereum Girl, with the Hayes Shin combination. Wasn't a cheap purchase at last year's Magic Millions. Looked pretty good in a recent trial at Wodonga. I think this might be prime for a first up tilt. Got the 1 gate and has everything in its favour. Got it on top.
Oh, in the same way. 3 trials time. The only concern is with having had 3 trials maybe completely exposed, and the last trial probably wasn't the best of the lot, but I like the way it's worked coming into this. I like backing the juniors from this yard, and I like gate 1. All the reasons you've said. Main danger, I'll say the I'm Invincible filly down there, Heavenly Conquest, who runs well. I'll throw Brave Charms into a trifecta because I think it trialled better than 100 to 1 chance, and the connections probably are getting you a price there, but no real interest in winning. Yeah, interesting we found the same one there. The third is a 3-year-old mile benchmark 70, probably one of the better 70s you'll get. I think all of these have got a little bit of something going on. I was a little bit confused by Blake Shin jumping off Macedon Rose on that nice debut. It had Flemington mile written all over it, but maybe the weight, 55 kilos, you might be a bit heavier than that just at the moment. I've ended up going with Zorro's Flight on top, purely because it controlled and won that race nicely over the mile last week. Comes straight back to the scene of the crime, which is a tick, and gets a similar setup. So I put it on top. I do like Macedon Rose, as I said, and perhaps the worthy danger there, but not many of these would surprise Beaver.
Yeah, really open race and really good quality race here, to be honest. I've gone for Tomba. I just like I think coming from the Sydney form at Kembla Grange, I think that was pretty good form here, and steps up here. I like that Shin's taken the ride here for the Nisham stable, and this looks like a horse that might have plenty of improvements. Just keep stepping up over to the mole suits, and I think it'd be hard to beat. I did think Centennial Park was the main danger. Thought it was a good win over Surigao Rock. Boxing Day, that horse is being consistent and running on quite well. Prior to that one, fairly comfortably. I think it's going to be also hard to beat.
The fourth is an 1100 metre benchmark 78 for the girls, fillies and mares. Does Samangu jump leading and winning again look the obvious here?
It does look to be the obvious here. I'm sort of struggling to find where the danger would be. Maybe Luna Cat, but it's flying at the moment. 3 runs in this prep. They've all been pretty good wins. Probably the latest one was a nice little win as well. 2 starts back. That was pretty good at Caulfield, led all the way and just ran away from him there. So it's been winning fairly convincingly in my eye. And again, the 1100 looks just to be perfect here. Williams bed combination. I've got it on top. Main danger, Luna Cat.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't mind the 1200 back to 11 here. I thought that race it won last time was stronger than this, to be honest. So all sets up really well. Not a lot of competition on pace either. So happy to be with it. I actually went looking for perhaps Girl to run a place here at a price, in a race with not a lot of dangers. So the jump outs were pretty good, but not sure what else I found there. The fifth is a benchmark 70, 1200 metres. And to be honest, I'm just going to pass in this race. I tried. I don't know. I'm just splitting hairs with some of these. Do you have any bit clearer picture?
I was a little bit the same to you. I was just, kind of looking at a pass. I thought if I had to pick something, I'd probably lean towards the 8 in his dream. I think it's got to show something now, or big concerns over it. But this looks like a decent setup for it. So I had it on top. Not a lot of confidence around this race, to be brutally honest.
The time I did before I gave up Anna's Dream was the one Anna's Dream and Street Elite were the 2 I looked at. But when I got to the point, I was just trying to pick which one's going to have its turn there. So we move on to the 6, which is a benchmark 84, a nicer race here. And I actually like the price. I'm a little bit surprised by it of Veloce Carro at the top here. I think it's resuming in a slightly weaker race, and it's spent some time in lately. And jump outs were good. Mark Zara jumps on, outside gate. All look ticks, and just because we're getting the price around it, I'm going to put it on top. Major Share has put some nice wins together, but he's up in grade. It's the main danger, as the market suggests. And keep it on Legio Ten here, because I think it's scary. First up for Kevin Bedgegood. He can get something out of these used-up horses, and sometimes these Godolphin horses just really kick on once they leave the yard in some different setup. But anyway, Veloce Carro on top for me. Beaver.
I like what you had to say about Legio 10 there. It's my on topper here. Cool. I think it can go well first up. It has got good first up form. The Flemington straight suits wasn't far off from when it 6 months ago raced at Flemington. So I think it can run very well. And I think you're right. I think the top weight, Veloce Carro, is a very, very good chance here. Has won down the straight before and is fresh here in the right stable. So I thought those 2 held the key.
Very good. It's interesting, actually. Well, just looking in the Godolphin colours, it started single figures against Barraquil and started favourite last time it was up the straight, and you're getting double figures here now. So good shout, Beaver. The quaddie kicks off with a 3-year-old, I think it's a 3-year-old race. Yeah, benchmark 74 for the fillies. What have you found?
Yeah, another interesting race here. For a few of these have sort of won in their most recent start. I'm going for Princess Q, the number 3 here. I thought I liked its last run in open class company at Moonee Valley. Only just pipped there, sat on pace. and gave a really bold sight there. Prior to that, led all the way, went unchallenged, and beat Sweethearted. That was a good win, won by a couple of lengths there. I think this is another race out in Gate 10's perfect. Could be hard to catch. I've got it on top, with one of the dangers being Makila from the Griffith stable. I thought it looked a danger as well, but Princess Q for me.
Yeah, another good race. I'm going to have something on Spring Air first up. I liked its work into last prep. Had to work to get that win and then did a bit wrong second up. Its jump outs have been good again this time. I'm just going to have a punt at around $1 mark. This might be a talented horse and a penny may have dropped. I really like that last jump out win. We might never see it in town again, by that all being said, but we'll have a spruik at it here. I like what you said about Princess Q, and I thought if you just want to play a real straight bat, Manalo Bling does look pretty obvious. A previous winner up the straight and had to sit outside lead first up. But let's have a spec at Spring Out here for me. The second is a 2,000 metre, got benchmark 100 up next. I'm going to go with the market with Deacon on top, the favourite, just because it meets a beaten up field of hacks here, to be honest. It didn't beat a lot second up, but does have upside, comes in minimum weight. If it's going anywhere this autumn, it should be winning this as well. Independent road, up and going. It's just always in the right spot. Will make it the main danger. And the more I looked at this, the more I thought, is this one of those races, Beaver, where Akita Sushi's going to run a race and we'll get a message from the Gump afterwards saying, I can't believe a Ma runner ran around at 30s and ran second or something. It has that feel as, it did run a place in a Melbourne Cup last time out, but a bit to do first up, but an average race. Deacon on top, lightly raced from a couple of long shots for the exotics, Beaver.
Yeah, look, you're right with Akita Sushi. Obviously, a stayer resuming here, but has good first up records, but they're probably over further than potentially this. But it is 2,000 metres, and you never know with a Ma horse. It's probably one that wouldn't hurt to chuck a fiver on if you wanted to save. But I've gone Deacon as well. Third up here, in at the lightly weighted, won really well last start, and just looks to be a horse that is a progressive type down in the weights here. And so I'm going to bank on that being the case and see how it goes. But yeah, on top for me, maybe just a sneaky save on the toppy.
Nice. The 9th, 1,400 metre benchmark 84. I think this is a tricky race outside the fact I don't really want to back the favourite. But who do you like?
Yeah, I do want to back the favourite
Okay.
here. I think it's going to be super hard to beat.
The problem is I've thought that a lot.
Makes it look trickier. I know it concerns me, second, and it doesn't win very often. But I'm just going to hope that this preparation, it's going to be a bit more genuine there and get a couple of wins under its belt and get them under its belt early. Otherwise, I'll be beating it quite quickly. This is a benchmark 84 resuming. It sort of finished off in benchmark 90s last time in work. And look, they were pretty good runs against potentially better quality than this. So goes well first up, never been out of a place, not out of a place often. So I'm just going to bank on it being ready to go.
I didn't know really where to turn up after my opening statement. I'm going to put Pioneer River on top. I know it has to run the 1,400 metres, but it was a nice win two back. And then came to Sydney, ran second to Disneck, who is flying at the moment. It's double figures, so we'll spec it. I thought Pesquero and Brazen Lady are both close to another win. I know Pesquero just likes knocking everyone out once a year, but I thought his last run was quite good. Brazen Lady, ditto. I went looking for Lethal Thoughts, but the straight record left a lot to be desired. The rest of its last start run was quite good, all things being considered. The last is a benchmark 70 again, 1,800 metres, and I'm pretty keen on this lightly raced one here. I think getting outside and clear air for Revelare, it's going to be right in the finish. There's a very good win last time out, coming, I think it was at Seymour, but it just owned them. I think 800 metres will be right up its alley, lightly raced, everything I'm looking for. From Dream All Day, might not be the gun I thought it was a month ago, but it hasn't done a lot wrong. It'll run well again here. Yeah, that'll do me. I think this is a nice horse on the way up. The 14, Beaver.
Yeah, tricky little race here. I think there's only two that can win, and I'm pretty keen on Dream All Day. I think it's just a really genuine horse. I love the fact that Shin is aboard it again here, and look at one last start here at Flemington, led all the way. I think it'll probably jump to the front here, and you see just all too often at Flemington they control the pace, or in Melbourne generally. They get up front, they control the pace, and they're hard to beat. Albeit said that, this horse has come from back in the field before last preparation at Flemington and run some good races. So I've got it on top. Scared of the 14, but it's going to go back to probably near the tail, I would say, given the draw, or it's going to have to try and find a spot. And it just depends on how well Shin controls the pace here. I've got it on top, Dream All Day, and super hard to beat.
Beautiful. Do you want to give us your quaddie for Flemington?
Yeah, I'm certainly happy to do that. First leg, which is race 7, going to be a little bit tricky here. I'm going number 2, number 3, number 9, number 8, 9, and number 6. In the second leg, I'm going in no particular order, number 15, number 10, number 1, and number 3. In the third leg, I'm going number 2, number 6, number 7, and number 17. And to finish off in the last leg, I'm going number 12, 13, and 14.
Oh, lovely. Your best in value.
My best bet comes up in race 10, number 12, Dream All Day. And my value bet comes up in race 6, number 7, Legio Ten.
Very good. I'm against you, both of those. I'm going to make my best race 10, number 14, Revelare. And my value, race 6, number 1, Veloce, Carro. Perhaps a nice exotic combination there.
Let's get it on.
I thought Samangu very hard to beat too, but a bit short there. Let's head.
That certainly gives the punters a bit of think about.
It does, yeah.
About who do they like, the Beaver or the Dagster?
Yeah, well, the way I'm going, just listen to you, I'd say. We've got to go to Sydney now.
I'd say that just in life general when it comes to me and you, mate. But what would I know?
I really don't have a comeback at the moment, so I'm just going to move on to Rosehill, where it's supposed to rain again. It hasn't really rained in Western Sydney at the moment today, but it is currently a soft track, actually, just looking at this. Heavy rain around tomorrow, allegedly, but the Weather Bureau is going about as good as me these days. 60 mil during the week. True rail, I think it might be tricky to make ground there. We see that often when it is heavy, but watch and learn. Kick off with the 2-year-olds in the first over the 1,100 metres, in fact. And we see a $1.6 million colt step out in cool more colours. Beaver, is this season's Snitzerland, or what's its name? Snitzerland? Yeah, Snitzerland.
Well, yeah, look, I think fairly keen on it.
Switzerland.
Looks like it's got a bit of ability, good breeding here. Wouldn't have been a cheap one. So I expect they'll be expecting it's got some ability, a couple of nice trials, and wasn't overly tested in those. I expect it to come out and win here, and maybe the $1.85's not too bad.
Switzerland, I'm thinking of. Snitzerland was a filly Gerald Ryan raced about 10 years ago. But anyway, I'm with it on top. I don't think the trials were mind-blowing, but there's intent here with J-Max back just to cast his shadow over this meeting. I think we'll all have this ready to go. I really like Splash of Steel's work. I half liked it heading to the Magic Millions, which it didn't go to last week, and Sanctified the Super Seth Colt. I thought the trials were very nice and should handle the wet. Your market's in the right order, essentially, is what I'm saying there. The second is a 1,400-metre highway where I don't have a lot to add either. I think the market's in the right order. I've got Scopix on top, hopefully further forward from gate 1. My concern is it might be a bit of a gunner. It keeps winding up and looking quite good through the line, but doesn't want to get there first. We'll go with it on top, and perhaps a small bet at a price on That A Boy, who I know it's coming off Queanbeyan wins, but I thought all those wins were quite good. So 30s may be worth some thoughts there, Beaver.
Yeah, not one I was overly keen on playing in, to be honest, Daggy, but I've gone for number 9, 1 3 double figure odds. Thought he could run a nice race. Third up here, won first up, come to town in the highway and was only 3 lengths behind Sir Remlap. Got some extra ground here, room for improvement. Had it on top to beat the other Olive horse, which is Wall's Angel. Thought it could run well as well, but yeah, not that excited.
We've got a 3-year-old race up next, a benchmark 72 over the 1,100 metres. I felt a little bit like Polyglot was a little short, but do you like it?
I do like it. Pretty keen on it running well because I don't think there's a heap of depth here. And if you look at some of its form, I thought it was pretty good here. It's been running 4 lengths behind Growing Empire and those types of horses. It was a good trial, I thought. And again, J-Mac Cummings, hard to go past. So I think it's going to be hard to beat.
The horse of interest for me was Winchester here. Deep Field Colt in the wet. I really liked the last trial. I like the fact it's going to push forward. Had a nice win at Sandown first up last prep. A little bit rails assisted, perhaps, thinking about it in hindsight. Then they took it to town where it didn't have a lot of things go right in the Vane Stakes. But they brought to Sydney, perhaps looking for this wet track. I think is an each-way horse worth looking at. From Polyglot, that last trial was fantastic, and I imagine that's where the prices come from. Yeah, they're the two for me. No, not knocking He's Done Hot 2, third pick. The fourth is a 1,200-metre benchmark 72 midway. The form mostly comes through the lead-up at Randwick a fortnight ago. The favourite here does look to have ability, the David Payne horse, but I don't really like David Payne horse as starting favourite in town, I'll be honest, especially with some work to do. So I was more looking to play around at a price with a couple here, and I thought something small each way. Chief Conductor, a nice resumption there, with Reece Jones on top, around $11. Interested me, handles the conditions well. Stablemate Spicy Hotpot gets Tim Clark and gets a stalking gate there. Perhaps can find 2 or 3 back running on. I thought it was worth looking at, and unbelievably, I'm going to actually have something on Nosy Parker from the Paul Perry yard. I thought it's some of its wet track stuff's been good, and it's 30-1. So I was looking for some value. I'm going to cover those 3 and hopefully get a bit of luck. Who are you thinking of, Beaver?
Funny you should say what you did, because I kind of went for the Ryan stable as well. I think it's a good little stable on the way up. But I had Spicy Hot. I just flipped them. I thought Spicy Hot could run well, and I kind of liked the price. Won first up. So I had it on top, but I thought Chief Conductor could also be one of the dangers. So that's what I've come up with the race that, again, not super keen on, but that's kind of the way I'm leaning.
Very good. I like it. The 5th is the staying race on the card, 2,400-metre benchmark 78. Look, I said after last start, Gilded Water would probably go on and win the Metrop. So I've got to stick here. I think wet is a concern, but probably sound a bit like a broken record for the rest of this card saying that. But I think this is going somewhere, this horse. Easily on top, Jay Collette back on. And the danger, I'm very interested to see Impunity come to town off a couple of very nice wins out to a distance. The lightly raced Done Deal. Map to lead this race, which I'm not completely sure it will, but if it does, it will be the runner has to get past and can run a hole. What have you made of this?
Yeah, no, nothing to add there. I've got Gilded Water on top. Super hard to beat. Around the even money. Does look a horse on the way up. Not one of my favourite jockeys on it in Collett, but maybe just has to hold on here and should be winning. So that's my on top pick.
Who is your favourite jockey?
Who is my favourite jockey? I don't really like any of them, to be honest.
No, that's the right answer. The 6 is
It's a tough question. I'd have to give that some thought, Adrian.
Okay.
It depends on any given day, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's a fair answer.
Yeah. They ride too many shockers on the horses I back. So 1 minute they're good and 1 minute they're not so good.
I'll leave that chat there then, hey? The 6 is a 1,500-metre benchmark 78. Who do you like in this one?
I've gone for number 10 here, Diamond Nil. It's in flying form here. Thought it was a really good win New Year's Day, defeating Pocketing. And then the run before that was favourite and won pretty easy. It's maiden. It's I think it was Kembla. So I've got it going really well at the moment, and I think it continue on with that form. So I think it's ideally drawn. But this is a good race. There's a few good chances here. We've got Automation, which is 10-1 with the McDonald-Wallace combination. That scares me. And I thought Emadilla was a very nice run, second up and is third up here. So it's going well as well. And even the favourites, it's in a rich vein of form. So I thought this was a really open race with plenty of chances. But I've just gone for number 10, marginally Diamond Nil.
I'm with Amadella. You mentioned it. I think both runs this time in have been I know it's coming off a midway win, but both runs have been really good. I like the work leading into the prep. Does lose my favourite jockey, Nash, but Zach Lloyd's riding all right. And I think this is a black type filly, or mare now. And I think the wet should not be a concern. So I'll put it on top, and I'm scared of Diamond Lil. All the reasons you said there. Potentially leads this race as well, so that can't possibly hurt. I looked at, for the sake of an early quaddie, Perfumist and Lulumon, the other two I would consider there. The actual quaddie starts with a listed 2,000 metre January Cup. I'm going to put Saltcoats on top here. Interestingly, that J-Mac's on the stablemate, but that could be a weight thing at around the 53, I suggest. But I think it's found its mojo. Yeah. I think it's found its mojo now, Saltcoats, and can keep going. Just has to get past the stablemate, Osipenko, who was good last time out, but it is Osipenko. Gets stalking for J-Mac, has to be a live chance. I think that's a race. Nothing else for me to add here.
Not much for me to add there either. I've got Saltcoats on top as well. It's flying at the moment, and that looks good. Its recent form looks good form for a race like this. So I had it clearly on top. Osipenko's a horse I just cut back. So I'll let that one slide. I thought the main danger could be Converge, although it hasn't been putting its best foot forward. I think these are the types of races that Waterhouse gets them to bob up in. Was Group 3 last start, and only 3 lengths behind them. It wasn't a bad run. So this could be right up its alley, and doesn't mind a little bit of sting out the ground.
The 8th is a benchmark 88 over 1,300 metres. Disneck is flying. Are you sticking?
I am sticking. That was a good win last start and just continues to go strength from strength. It seems to have hit a purple patch here. This is in an overly deep field, and I think there's no reason it can't continue on with that purple patch. I think the $4 is very good, to be honest. I'm not sure why it's not favourite. Probably just Cigar Flick McDonald Waller combination, but a bit disappointing, to be honest. I know it hasn't been that far off them, but 2 starts back probably should have won. When it's got held up, and then last start again just seems to, I don't know, not win. So I've got Disneck on top.
I agree.
Main danger, potentially number 11, Keitel, double figures.
Okay, yeah. I agree. Yeah, Disneck's on top. One of the only horses I've backed the last 3 starts, going to stick solid. And I agree, Cigar Flick should have really got the job done by now. It's been a while, and I've had enough of it. I thought Midnight Opal, the danger there. Just over-raced a bit last time out. I think back onto a wet track and McAvoy back on will help it run well here. The 9th is in 1,500 metre benchmark 78, in fact. And I'm going to spec Mogwai here at a price.
Thought you might.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't, as you know, I had an opinion of it when it was with the Godolphin Yard. Went away. It's now come out and won at Kembla. Just because it's 20s. If it was in the market, I'd probably be interested. But because it's 20s, we'll find out. From Bunker Hut, who is becoming Sydney's answer to Verdad, but really did nothing wrong last time out. Just copped Nash on a heater that day where he rode those 5 or 6 winners. Main danger. And I think Age of Sail is a big price with Ben Osman for what might be the best horse in this race. Who have you found, though?
Geez, ordinary race.
Yeah, which is why I like the one at 20s.
Yeah, I was really struggling here. I've gone for number 8, the Little Pumper. There was a little bit of money around for it last start, and I thought it wasn't a bad run, finishing third. It's got the inside gate here. Hieronymus and Waterhouse possibly go forward. And that might be enough to get it into the race and be hard to hold out. So I had it on top. Main danger, the 2, High Blue Sea.
Beautiful. Good luck to Nath, who's got a share in the Little Pumper as well. The last is 1100 metre, benchmark 78. What are you coming home with?
Yeah, coming home with number 5, Spring Lee, Beyond in the last. Hard to beat. Beyond and the favourite in the last seems to bob up a hell of a lot of the time. So keen on it, but I think this horse is a fairly reasonable horse as well. Only lightly raced, has run some good races. Other times I've backed it and thought it would win, and it hasn't. But story of my life. But I think it's a good horse. Trialled well at Canterbury. That was a nice little trial after its a nice trial at Rosehill. I think it's primed and ready to go for this. Handles the gate, probably winning.
Yeah, I'm with it too. I think the stable's now is flying at the moment as well, which helps. It's not been one of mine, but I thought it really should have won first up last time out. I think the wet's not an issue. Zoostar out of a Manhattan Rain mare. And the 2 trials were very, very good this time in. You've covered it. Let's go with it on top. Cosmonova, main danger if the inside's all right. And had it been dry, I would have definitely given some thought to Salisano as well. But let's come home with that in the last. In fact, actually, let's do the quaddie first. First leg, number 1, Osipenko, number 5, Saltcoats. If you want to go one wider, hopeful, number 4. The second leg, 2, Disneck, 5, Cigar Flick, 6, Exceladus, and 12, Midnight Opal. Third leg, 1, Bunker Hut, 2, High Blue Sea, 3, Age of Sail, and 12, Mogwai. Last leg, 5, Spring Lee, 6, Salisano, 8, 1, Destiny, 10, Boston Rocks, and 13, Cosmonova. $100 gets you just under 2/3 actually. With that there, my best. Let's make it Spring Lee in the last. Race 10, number 5, as well as Gilded Water. And race 4, number 4, Chief Conductor, is the value on the card. Beaver.
Yeah, thanks, Daggy. My best bet is race 3, number 5, Polyglot. And my value bet comes up in race 4, number 17, Spicy Hotpot.
Very good. Give the combo of the Ryan Yard some strength in that race. Anything happening at Eagle Farm? I noticed Space Riders nommed there tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, what's the go? Scratch from tonight to run at Eagle Farm tomorrow.
Not sure. Maybe just decided they'd rather bank the prize money tomorrow.
Mate, it would have been a genuine chance at the Magic Millions.
We both tipped it, didn't we?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
so, a bit surprised by that, but what would I know?
Just back it. It'll win.
But let's get on to some other tips up at Eagle Farm. I got race 5, number 4, Flag Hall as winning. Then I've also got race 8, number 6, Harbour Master. I think it's going to be super hard to beat. Race 9, number 9, Weagle Tiger. They're my 3.
Brilliant. Check out showusytips.net. Beaver will have our written tips up there in case you want to check them throughout the afternoon later this arvo. We'll also have a preview of UFC 311. Dead Space MMA, friend of the show. Send in your tips for a very good card this Sunday. Otherwise, mate, good punting tomorrow.
Love your work.
And I will chat to you soon, as well as the rest of the punters. See you guys.
Sounds like a plan.